So, any apologies for absence?
Yes, from Cynthia Jubilee Room. That's the only apology.
Thank you. So we're content that Cynthia had a previous meeting fully organised.
She's in London.
Yes. Seeing the Queen.
Mm.
So are we
Okay.
happy?
Sorry?
Are we happy that we accept that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Declarations of any pecuniary or personal or political issues. Andrea.
On 4A.
Bob.
Can I do my normal planning declaration to avoid predetermination on item 3? The two applications there.
Okay, Peter.
Friend of Richard Tilley has applied for a tree preservation order.
So,
Works on cheaply.
do you have any personal interest on that?
I'm not interested in tree preservation at all. I'm a friend of Richard.
Right.
Good friend.
Yeah.
Good.
Right, so we have two planning applications to consider. Information is on the table. Bob is going to lead. We'll try and make it quick. It's quite cold out here, I think, tonight. The first is the erection of a single-storey extension to the north-west and south-east elevations on a property, the Lodge, Hart Road. Now, has everybody looked at this and has anybody got any comments? Now, I know Cynthia's not here. She did briefly to say that, in her opinion, she could not see anything of any considered issues. Nothing's being put on the website from the statutory people to say they have any particular objections. Has anybody got any thoughts? Or can we
It's
just...
a nice building and everything that's put on it should be
In keeping.
in keeping with the building that's stood there.
Well, certainly if you look at the plans and the submission
Yeah,
document, it is
Yeah.
done in that manner. So can we have a proposal to accept that?
Yeah.
So we're supporting it
We support it.
on the basis of
Enhanced.
enhancement.
Yeah. Somebody's got to live somewhere.
And then secondly, we have some arboreal work on a tree at number 3, the Coombe, Brent Street.
Can I just make a point on this one? Bob asked me to point it out to. Apparently the work on this tree had started previously, so to some extent it's retrospective, and it was then considered that it needed planning permission. And the work that had been done to the tree was apparently not correct, and they've had to appoint a tree surgeon to do the work correctly. So in fact, what it is, partly retrospective application really, to get permission to do the work, which to some extent has already been done, even though it's not been done quite correctly. You see what I mean?
All the lorries that go through there hit it.
Yeah. Well, it actually says, doesn't it, that where they did tidy the tree, it's left with a load of stub ends which were correctly done in the first place. So, but have we any objections to that? It's going to bring it back into good arboreal
So
practice.
support on the basis of arboreal good practice.
Yeah. Okay. And I guess they've the normal qualification of the Sedgemoor
Tree preservation practice.
criteria.
Yeah.
Right. Do you want to take anything else? Thanks. Right, we now come on to matters of consideration. The first is the Fox and Goose consultation and consideration of the proposals that have been made by the potential developer. Do you need to speak to the council at all?
Yes, please, yeah.
Can we just suspend our meeting then? Do we want Andrea back in? Can we get Andrea back in?
Very quickly.
There's my good old cop.
We haven't actually started the debate. We had a gentleman just arrived who wants to say something, so we have suspended the meeting. Could you just give your name, and I will just say to you that unless you have particularly any objections, all our meetings are videoed.
Yeah, it's fine.
And it will be recorded, and if you can keep your comments to about 3 minutes, it will be appreciated.
Well, that's, yeah, fine.
So, the
Okay.
stage is yours.
Okay, I'm a local resident of Brent Knoll. I just want to come down and just voice a few thoughts on the developments from last week here. Just in respect of thoughts around the traffic provision, and also I've been in contact with them today, and that personally I don't think enough work is going on to the impact of traffic in and out of the village, and that traffic lights, in my opinion, won't work at the top and could create problems for people like myself that travel in and out of the village quite regularly for work purposes, as well as having my family here. So you've really just to voice my thoughts on that as a local resident, and that certainly in conversations with the developers on email, it seems that they don't seem to have quite grasped the volume of traffic here in the summer, and the traffic that comes through the village, travelling through to Barrow, Bream, Weston, and the impact of people coming and going that live here 12 months of the year, when it's busy in the summer, and when it's quieter in the winter period. So that was my thoughts, and that's why I wanted just to pop and listen to the meeting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a bit like musical chairs. Yeah, recommence. Right, so we were going to consider the Fox and Goose consultation and consideration of the proposals that are being made. Now, we have been given documentation that sets out the issues and the potential with proposals, and I stress potential. And we are not here to consider the parish council's support or not at this stage, or agreement I should say, or non-agreement at this stage. We are simply here to consider whether we want to investigate or consider the proposals going forward to understand what could be offered. Now, for those people present, or members of the public present that may not... Sorry,
can I stop you there?
Yeah.
You say we, but for the benefit of the public that are here, we're not in receipt of anything the public haven't had.
Was this available at the consultation?
Yes.
That's right, you're saying we is the council.
But the real issue is that the application for the proposal is based upon their seeking to develop houses, and they can only develop houses if there is a benefit given to the community. Now, normally such proposals come through with the caveat of providing affordable housing. And in this instance, they are offering, or proposing to offer, an improvement to the Fox and Goose junction. So that's what's on offer. That is the mechanism whereby the planning process, if it proceeded, could go forward. But they are offering a benefit to the community in the form of an improvement to that junction. Do you just want to, for the record, Bob, just clarify the P4 process, please?
So, Jim, I mean, in terms of P4, it's a planning policy that is within the Sedgemoor local plan, which does pretty much what you've just outlined, which is that normally in communities such as Brent Knoll, you would have a village development boundary, and you can develop properties within that boundary. If you go outside of that, you can't, generally. What the policy P4 says is that you can develop on land which is adjacent to that development boundary, providing there is a community benefit which is supported by the local community. So, as you just mentioned, often that is affordable housing, but not exclusively. As you say, in this case, the proposal is an improvement to highways works. Another example, which I know members around the table are aware of, is at Cannington. There they decided the community benefit, rather than being affordable housing, they had a flooding issue, and so the money that would have gone towards that went into flood alleviation scheme, and that was supported by the parish, obviously, in terms of taking it forward. So were this to have the support in terms of the parish council in taking it forward, it would then have to have a full planning application, and at that stage, obviously, the detail of it and the detail of things like the impact on the A38 would have to be investigated in further detail, both by the planning authority at Sedgemoor and by the highways authority at the county council.
Okay. So I think it's important that that is a matter of record and a matter of principle, but we as a parish council have no power at this stage to say, that's fine, everything's going to be hunky-dory, or no, we don't want it, blah, blah, blah. We're in a position of exploring the process to provide a benefit. And Colin, I believe you...
Mr Chairman, can I just sort of really, I think, for the record, just endorse or seek to further put some bones on Bob's points there. Members of the Council, we are not, as you know, we have not been presented with a formal planning application. That's the most important thing. It's merely whether we wish to support or recommend that we look at this development a bit closer. And if we're going to look at it closer, there are certain things we must make sure that are addressed. One of them, first of all, is the planning application that is actually made for the development of the homes in question. Are they architecturally sound and suitable for Brent Knoll? Is the entrance to the site suitable? It may not be suitable, so therefore we've got to look and see that the entrance and exit to the site is properly looked at. Secondly, we need to ensure that if works are done down at the A38, then they are done with the scrutiny of Somerset County Council Highways, the highways consultants, and those people that know about traffic management issues. Because unless that traffic is managed properly for the benefit of the village and A38 users, we cannot recommend that it goes ahead. And also, I think I've already made the point in my first point. The access to the site is of concern, but again, until we get a formal planning application and a formal request, we can't decide anything, but we can recommend or support that we investigate it further. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Malcolm?
Yes, I'd just like to say, where else are traffic lights on an unrestricted major arterial road? And how would they be controlled? By sensors or timed? Although there is some slight inconvenience at peak time,